In today's video, we're talking muscle mass, and I'm gonna give you 3 tips that are gonna help you improve your training so you can put some more size on your frame. Are you as pumped up as I am? I hope so. Yo, what's up guys? Frank Daniels here. Today I'm talking mass and how you can put on size. Before I get into that, I've got a free report for you. It's called my 9 Killer Core Tips. And just as an FYI, trying to put mass on top of a weak core, it's like trying to build a building on a weak foundation. It's just not gonna work. You need that strong core. So if you wanna instantly download that free report, 9 Killer Core Tips, click this button right here. Mobile device users, head down below, first link in the description. Now, I'm assuming some of you guys may question why I'm even telling you this. And you might do that because you're looking at me and you're like, this guy has a relatively underdeveloped chest. Why should we listen to him about size and mass? And let me just explain that to you and why that is. The big thing is like, I don't really give a fuck, to be honest. Like, I'm not too concerned with being overly developed in my chest. It's just not the first priority that I have in terms of training. So I generally do full body routines that are more athletic based, and I'm cool with just kind of being lean and a bit ripped. I don't have to get overly oversized in any muscle group. It's just not my thing. However, if it is your thing, that's what we're here for. I want to tell you exactly what I got in this ticker up here that could potentially help you improve your hypertrophy. What the hell is hypertrophy? Well, that's just fancy terminology for putting some beef in the right places. So without further ado, let me give you 3 training tips that are gonna help you improve your ability to put on some size. Number 1, focus on the big lifts. Squats, deadlifts, pull-ups, bench press, rows, heavy sled pushes and drags, heavy farmer's carries. What you should be doing is focusing on those big lifts or making them your top priority, and everything else in your training gets built around that stuff. And let me also explain that we've been doing this shit since Arnold was doing it. And it worked then, and it's working now. As a matter of fact, people keep trying to sell you some shit like it's different, but it's not. It's the same goddamn thing, reorganized. Now it's got fancy gadgets flying around. But at the end of the day, a squat is a squat. Zero in and master the basics, good things happen, especially in terms of size. When it comes to the big lifts, that's like the blocking and tackling in football or the rebounding and free throw shooting in basketball. Listen, Steph Curry has been shooting free throws since he was about 3 years old. Now he's the MVP of the league. And what does he do before every game? Shoots fucking free throws. It works. Number 2, increase the volume of those lifts to more times per week. What does that mean? Well, basically, instead of doing squats once a week or deadlifts once a week or any of those bigger lifts that are going to help you put on size, doing them more times per week, so specifically 2 or 3 times per week, is going to improve your ability to put on mass. And while we're at it, don't let me catch you doing all upper body and no legs, homeboy. That's illegal. You get ejected from the game. And then just kind of understanding intensity is pretty important also. So let's just say, for example, you increase your squat volume from 1 to 2 or 3 days per week, right? And just say it's at 3, for example, right now. Your first day might be your best attempt at your highest intensities. You're not going to be able to do that across the board, so you got to understand that you're probably going to drop it down a little bit the next time, and then if you're doing 3 times a week, you may actually even vary the exercise. So for example, going from a back squat to a front squat. More volume on those big lifts is going to be a very effective way at being able to put on more mass and more size. And number 3, smaller muscle groups get even more volume. Great news, because I know you love doing bis and tris. So larger muscle groups, specifically chest, shoulders, back muscles, glutes, hamstrings, and quads, they're bigger. They produce more force. They have a bigger cross section. So in other words, it takes them longer to recover. And on the flip side, smaller muscle groups, for example, biceps, triceps, forearms, rear delts, calves, and even abs, they're smaller muscle groups. They don't produce as much force. They don't have as much of a diameter. So they don't get as fatigued. They just can't produce that amount of force. So they recover quicker, which means you can work them more. So literally with the volume or the amount of training days per week that you can hit these smaller muscle groups, we're talking 3 to 4 times potentially per week, depending on your ability to recover. Whereas with the bigger muscle groups, you're gonna struggle a little bit more and you wanna aim to do a little bit less. Like I said, 2 to 3 times per week. So happiness tip of the day, you get to work your show muscles more often. And I know you're happy about that. Nobody even looks at those other muscles anyway, especially during summer. Abs and arms, baby. No, really, quit fucking around. Make sure you do your legs. So let me just sum this up for you guys. Basically, we're building around the big lifts. The other thing that we're talking about is getting out of your typical bro split, which means that I do one body part per day across the course of the week. It's too long to get back to that body part to really get you to grow the way we need you to. So we're talking about now doing multiple exercises across the span of a week. So for example, National Bench Press Day is Monday. You did all your chest work there. Now if we're gonna spread it out and do multiple chest days in a week, say now you're doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right? If I typically did 20 sets, that's about your weekly volume. That's about what it should be. Whether I do that across 2 days or I do that across 3 days, your weekly volume should be 20. I can't do 20 sets, 20 sets, 20 sets, because now you're doing multiple body parts in each workout, right? So it's not just chest, it's back, it's shoulders, it's legs. All those pairings are getting grouped together now on different days, right? So I'm just spreading the same volume I typically do in one day across multiple days now, all right? And other exercises got to be filtered in. That you're gonna have to figure out. Can't do that in today's video, but you figure it out. The other thing to think about, if you're doing chest 1 day a week, you probably don't want to jump right to 3 days a week. So I gave you some big volumes in terms of we're going from 1 day a week jumping to 2 and 3 for the bigger muscle groups and potentially 3 and 4 for the smaller muscle groups. So if you're doing 1 day a week right now, you want to test out 2, okay, and see what that does to your body. Then we go to 3, and then you can jump to 4 on some of those smaller muscle groups. So again, you test it out and see how well you're recovering from those volumes, which is ultimately going to dictate if you put on size and put on mass. Recovery is pretty important in this process. Gentlemen, if you want to download my free core training report to help you put some mass on top of a solid frame, you can download that by clicking this button right here. Mobile device users, head down below, click the first link in the description, 9 killer core tips. If you really like the video, I'd love for you to head down below, like, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to this channel right here. Guys, enjoy putting on some size, putting on some mass. Let me know how it goes. Of trying to put like molasses, more athletical. Fuck was I saying? Shit. Let me give you 3 tips. Let me give you 3 tips. I just keep covering my face. Shit, I need a ring girl to come across 3 tips. What the hell is pipe?